Wow. For more on the ongoing rice crisis in Japan and the next steps in an effort to deal with it, we're now joined by Cliff Tan. He's a former East Asia head of global markets research for MUFG. That's Japan's largest bank and financial group. Great to have you on our program. And to be honest with you, I had no idea about this. How well known do you think this is outside of Japan?
Well, in Japan, it's very well known, particularly because we have an upper house election coming up. But outside of Japan, it's not that well known, not even in the ongoing U.S.-Japanese trade negotiations.
So talk to us about how Japan got here. We heard a little bit, and how is Japan's government regulating rice planting, harvesting, and sales in the past?
Well, the rice trade is something that's almost completely regulated and overseen by the Japanese government, because rice is seen as a real staple of everyday life, and actually a staple and a corner of Japanese culture itself. So there is a lot of attention given to the harvest, the cultivation rather than and the harvest, and the distribution of rice.
Okay, we heard about the emergency rice. Kind of explain how Japan's emergency rice reserves are working and why the government has them in the first place, and what types of events are they normally released within?
Normally, it takes like a natural disaster. This time, there are elements of that, but it's not the entire explanation. It started last summer. We have very low inventories. We had some typhoons, an earthquake, and then the fear of another earthquake plus some panic buying.
Wow. All
of these helped to send prices higher, and they have continued higher for more than a year now.
Okay, we've heard, about the rice shortage now and the subsequent price increases. And how are they impacting retailers, consumers? But what about the farmers? What are these folks going through right now?
Well, I think for the farmers, because the wholesale price of rice has also gone up, they've actually enjoyed kind of a windfall because of the surge in prices. So maybe it's a little paradoxical, it shouldn't be, but actually I think farmers have benefited from the surge in prices.
I'm really curious more about the backlash, the way the government has felt the ire of consumers within the nation, because not only having a rice shortage, but there are various kinds of rice. There are the low-end rice, the high-end rice that can be used for sushi. And as you said, it's such a really and so important to the cultural aspects of the country as well.
Well, it's been very bad for the popularity of the current government. Prime Minister Ishiba's popularity rating is near all-time lows, and it wasn't helped because his farm minister unfortunately made a kind of insensitive comment about rice. I think you might have alluded to it in the lead-in. So, it's interesting because, Japan being such a wealthy nation, there's no chance that the Japanese household is ever going to run out of rice.
Right.
So it hurts the household budget, but it's not catastrophic. But the price of rice seems to be where the politics of the issue reside. And because of that, I think the government has almost no choice but to try to do something about it.
Yeah, and we heard about that. So they're having price cuts, markdowns. Is this sustainable, though, in the long term, or is it just going to have to be something very painful the government's just going to have to deal with?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think it's sustainable. It's not sustainable because of various government interventions. It means that in Japan, the supply of rice, the production of rice, doesn't actually respond when prices go up. In any other country, if the price of rice goes up, farmers have a big incentive to increase the amount of cultivation that goes to rice. But because of various acreage controls by the government, it's actually rather inelastic, the supply of rice in Japan, even when the price goes up.
Let's talk about what restaurants are doing in an innovative way. We heard that some are using soba noodles, but it's just not the same thing, is it? So what are restaurants doing trying to keep people happy when when they do come wanting traditional Japanese cuisine.
Well, as your soundbite just said, they're trying to go to substitutes, but I don't think that's really going to work, because I think for a Japanese person, coming into a restaurant and not getting rice feels very strange and unsatisfactory.
It's just, to me, mind-boggling how it got to this point. I mean, people had to see this coming. Are people wondering why this wasn't headed off more quickly?
Well, to be a little sympathetic, I think the government is saying that the distribution system of rice is partly to blame for why these high prices surge further and haven't really come down, except for the last couple of weeks, as you mentioned earlier. So that explanation is probably pretty complicated, given how dense Japan's distribution system is. So they may have a point there. But so what I'm saying is that it may have been difficult to foresee this because of the rather complicated distribution system that exists in Japan.